All right, we're back with day 21 of the 30-day journey into sound, where we're learning how to meditate to music. And it's all about helping you guys out. What I want to do here, as I put my phone in airplane mode, I want to help out the beginners, the newcomers, the intermediates, people who have struggled with quieting that mental chatter. People who have struggled with, maybe you've tried meditation, maybe you just can't seem to become still or overcome that mental chatter. So it's an often overlooked but very important step for newcomers to meditation. That they skip over a very important step of learning how to concentrate. Concentration is a traditional, ancient beginning step to meditation. If you skip over concentration practice, chances are, you'll be kind of lost in the quagmire of mind. And the mind, as you'll soon find out, can be very restless, can be very active. So what concentration exercises are designed to do, and what we're doing here with day 21 of the 30-day journey into sound, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new to the group, I'm Rob, I'm the admin. I started this group about 4 years ago as a way to share and inspire and motivate people to learn how to meditate. And if you already know how to meditate better. I've been meditating for over 30 years. I'm a meditation teacher, meditation coach, and I'm also a martial arts teacher and martial arts coach. I've been practicing martial arts for over 30 years as well, and teaching. So my approach to teaching meditation is very much like my approach to teaching martial arts. You have to start with the basics. And if you're new, the basics are concentration. It's kind of like when you get into the martial arts school for the first time. The first thing we will teach you how to do is, well, it depends, but maybe how to breathe, maybe how to make a fist, maybe how to, of course, stretch and warm up, but do your basic stances. You know, maybe like 4 or 5 good, solid foundational techniques in your very first martial arts class. So the basics of meditation are concentration. And oftentimes this is a very overlooked or skipped step, or some people think, no, I don't want to concentrate, trust me. Concentration is a very important part. Without concentration, we don't have anything. Okay, so what is concentration, first of all? Let me break it down to you for a couple different concepts. We have a perception. We have an awareness. I can see you. You can see me right now. So via your eyes, which is one of your 5 sense organs, you're able to see. With your ears, you're able to hear, mouth able to taste, etc., etc. So what is doing all that perceiving? Behind your sense organs is your attention. Your attention is a branch of your awareness. And your awareness is a offshoot of consciousness. So we like to say in the meditation circles that everything is consciousness. Consciousness is prior to everything. Without consciousness, what do you have? Think about it, or don't think about it. So what we do in the beginning of your meditation practice is we learn how to direct our attention onto something. And this is an object of your choosing. The very popular things that we direct our attention to could be your breathing. When we breathe, when we sit, and we place our attention on our breathing. So what we're doing is we're willfully directing that part of our perception that I call attention to something, towards an activity, which in this case could be breathing. Or in this case that we'll be doing soon is listening to the music. So when we place our attention on an object, what we want to try to do is in the beginning we want to try to hold our attention on the object. Yes, Yes, it is very important to do this, because if we don't do this, you'll never get the stability within the mind that is necessary to make it to the meditative state. And the goal here is to make it to the meditative state. All techniques, all methods that we call meditation are actually concentration exercises. The word meditation has been misplaced in the New Age society, in the internet world of today. Everybody calls anything that is seated with eyes closed meditation. But meditation is actually a word for the meditative state. You're in a state of meditation, which is a state of no thought, no activity of the mind, and no willful activity of the person. But this is not an easy state to get into, even though it is our natural state, because we are conditioned by our lives, by our society, by living in this world, by being born. We're conditioned to be active, to always be doing, to always be seeking. So it's the conditioning of ourselves, it's the conditioning of our minds that we need to overcome. So the very first step in overcoming that conditioning is learning how to break away from that. And that's where the concentration exercises come in. So the concentration exercise helps to stabilize your attention. So if I can stabilize my attention on one thing, whether it's breathing, whether it's a visual, whether it's a repeated mantra. Yesterday in day 20, I came on and demonstrated how to perform the mantra Om, which is a great way to focus and concentrate. So what this does in the beginning is it takes your attention, which is normally scattered amongst thought. It's an undisciplined mind, and chances are your attention is wandering all over the place, from thoughts to images to memories to physical sensations to emotions to what have you. When your attention is undisciplined, it tends to wander like a lost sheep or dog or whatever your favorite animal is. And what we seek to do in the beginning stages of meditation is stabilize our attention on one single object. I call this single-pointed mind. This is a very important step. A lot of times you'll hear a lot of poor, misguided information about meditation online and sometimes within even this group. But we have to allow for such things. I try to put out the best information that I can put out with my over 30 years of experience. I've trained with meditation masters. I am a student of meditation. I never claimed to be a master, but I am a meditation expert. So it's up to you who you want to listen to. And you should always use your intuition to see if this person is full of shit or not. Okay? And this is why I come on and not only give instruction about meditation and offer some sort of description verbally, but then I also meditate with you so I can show you what it's like to go through the process, because it is a process. We're all coming from an active mind. We're all very sensitive. The reason why our minds are so active is not just because of the conditioning from day one, but it's the fact that we are all psychic beings. We're all sensitive beings, naturally, innately. Being psychic is not something that is unique to any particular individual. We're all psychic. We're all intuitive. We're all sensitive. And especially those who meditate, you become even more so. The problem is that our mind is so active that we have no time to access that intuition. We have no experience with, discerning what thoughts are our own, what thoughts are handed down, what thoughts are we just picking up from our environment, from the world, etc., etc. But we can always trust our gut. We can always trust our intuition. Okay, so you know if you're in the right place. Okay, so when we begin to meditate, the very first thing we do is we want to sit down and we want to become physically still with our body posture. I recommend sitting in a chair. I recommend sitting on the ground. Whether you prefer to sit in a cross-legged position on your cushion or on the floor, or whether you prefer to sit in a chair with your back straight, that's great. I don't recommend laying down. When you lay down And I've heard, oh yes, you can do yoga, nidra, but this is not going to be conducive to an alert, meditative mind state. Trust me. You're just going to get sleepy, and chances are you're going to drift off into the astral, which is where we go when we sleep. That's not meditation. I know a lot of people call that meditation, but it's not. It's astral travel. And that's definitely not something that I advise in the beginning stages. Meditation is a very clear, sharp mindset. And it involves a great deal of love, humor, but also discipline. And so the first discipline we need to do is discipline our body. If we can remain still physically, the first thing we notice is that our body will continue to move on its own. There'll be breathing. I don't recommend focusing on your breath. A lot of beginners are told that sit and focus on the breathing. That's fine if that's your first instruction and you've tried it and maybe it gave you some progress. But I feel that other concentration methods are better. When you sit and you focus on your breath, that is a concentration method. But I find it much easier to sit and focus on music, which is why I'm bringing you this How to Meditate to Music 30-day course. Basically, this is a free course for you guys, and I hope you take advantage of it, because a lot of this material that I'm offering here, I could be charging thousands of dollars for. So, we sit down. The first thing we do is we become still. What we'll notice physically is some residual tension, perhaps around the eyes. Even right now, I can feel my eyes are kind of closed. Throughout the meditation process, I will try to relax my physical tension. My nervous system has a tendency to be tense, contracted. This is due to stress. This is due to just the way we are in this modern lifestyle, always being busy, always on the go. The next thing you'll notice, perhaps, is that the mind tends to be active. You'll start thinking thoughts. You'll start daydreaming. You'll start wandering off into fantastical realms of dream worlds. And we do this all the time, but maybe you didn't notice before you actually sat down and took notice. So, once we're able to sit still, then we want to direct our attention towards something. Now, in this case, I recommend directing our attention towards the music. All we're doing here is we're listening to the music. And when we listen to the music, the first thing we'll notice is, okay, I hear the music. And then our mind, because of its tendency, because of its habit, because this is what it's used to doing, our mind will again drift off into thought, daydreaming, wandering. Our mind will wander from here to there, physical sensations. Our mind, our attention will wander all over the place. Okay? So every time we notice that, we simply bring it and we redirect it back to our object of concentration. So this is step and stage one. The goal of stage one in concentration is to reach some sort of stability, some sort of stabilization that will lead toward stillness. Stillness is the key. You can talk about meditation all you want, but what are we really doing here? We are becoming still. And the reason why we're becoming still is so that we can get out of the way, because it's the active part of ourself that is in the way of the meditative state. It's the active part of ourself that is this conditioned part, be it the mind, be it the body, be it the emotions, that is constantly in some sort of a movement. And this movement or activity is like ripples or waves in water. When water is agitated and it's churned up, it's not clear. You can't see through it. Light doesn't shine through it. You can only maybe just see the surface. But when water becomes perfectly still and all the dirt is allowed to settle, the water becomes clear, the light can shine through, and you can see right through it. And this is the idea, is that what we truly are beings of awareness. Awareness, consciousness. Consciousness is already here. It's already there. It's the reason why you can perceive me right now. But the issue is that our consciousness, our awareness, and our attention has been modified due to the learning habits we've accrued, the conditioning we've accrued all throughout our lifetimes. Okay? So I can't reiterate this enough, is that this is the initial obstacle that we have to overcome, is the active mind. We need to become very still, and this is where discipline comes in, because it's not easy. I'll be very honest with you. It's simple, but it's not easy, because we're so used to being active. We're trying to teach ourselves a new skill, and it takes a daily discipline and daily practice. Okay? So, let's get to it. So, in the initial stages of the music meditation, we're simply listening. As our mind wanders, we return back to listening, whether you're listening through your headphones or listening through the speaker here. By doing this, your attention will become stable upon the object of concentration. This is the step one. This is the first stage. Once it's stable and continuous in a steady stream of attention, this is concentration. Your attention is what is being concentrated on one thing. Once that happens, there is a spontaneous realization at a certain point. Usually this takes 5 or 10 minutes once we settle down, where the concentration then becomes meditation. Meditation is a spontaneous state where we simply have to, prior to the meditative state, prepare ourselves. And the preparation is the stabilization and the stillness. It's the stillness of mind, the stillness of body. It's the allowance, it's the getting out of the way and allowing for that effortless awareness to shine. That's all it is. It's light. Our effortless awareness shines. It's a field. Light is a field. It's an emanation. It's like a light bulb. It has a field of illumination that it shines upon. Okay? So we have that same thing within our being, within our mind. And so at a certain point you'll be listening to the music and you'll just notice, it might take 2 or 3 songs, but you'll just notice that you don't have to keep redirecting your attention any longer. It's just, you're just aware. It's almost like you're not even aware through your ears anymore. It's like all your senses have united into one. And that's kind of the concept. You know, we are separate amongst all of our senses. We think that we have to, you know, see something, taste something, hear something, touch something. But in reality, what's behind all of those sense organs is our awareness, our attention. And it's the unifying factor. Okay? Our attention is prior to all of our senses. So what we're doing here is initially we're manipulating our attention to hold on one thing. And by doing that, we're removing our attention from the scattered thoughts. Once it becomes still and stabilized on that music, in this case, there'll be a realization of effortless awareness. You're just hearing the music. You don't have to keep redirecting your mind or your attention back to the music. You can just sort of surrender at that point. So simultaneously, there's really only 2 things going on when you sit down to meditate, in my opinion. Number 1, you're becoming still. And number 2, you're surrendering. And what is surrender? Surrender is letting go. Letting go of the old you. Letting go of the old form. Or even just the prior form that you knew yourself as. We recognize ourselves as perceivers. We recognize ourselves as a face. When we close our eyes, we still sense that this is me, this is my identity, I have a face, I have a body. But in reality, awareness has no shape, has no form. It's much like water in that regard. When water is placed inside a container, it takes the shape of that container. When, even water is like a recording device. If you've ever followed the work of Masaru Emoto, a famous Japanese scientist who studied the effects of words, music, and even written word on frozen water, and did a number of studies on the crystals that were formed based on different words. For example, two opposite words like love and hate were labeled on bottles of water. They were flash frozen, and the crystallization within the ice crystals of the word love on that water, that label, that bottle, was a beautiful symmetrical geometric design, high frequency. And let's say the one that had the label hate on it was like a distorted, asymmetrical, meaning not balanced, very distorted and, dare I say, ugly type of geometrical pattern. So, our mind is absolutely much like water. Okay? So, let's get to work. That's enough discourse, dharma, and discussion. Let's get to the demonstration. That's the 4 Ds today, people. Thank you. You gotta have fun, right? Here we go. So we're gonna meditate to music here, and it's very simple. You just listen to the music. And the true secret is that you want to get lost in the music. You want to forget about yourself. Because it's our attachment to the self, to this identity, that keeps getting in the way. You want to have fun? You want to be happy? You want to have a good life? Get out of the way. Stop getting in the way of your experience. Stop thinking so much when you're driving down the road, when you're in the shower. Just feel. This is really what mindfulness is all about. But in order to practice mindfulness, we have to cultivate mindfulness first. So the meditation practice, the seated meditation, is the way that we will cultivate mindfulness state. And it's really the meditative state that we carry throughout the day. That's really all it is. So here we go. I've got my music ready to go. Let me connect my Bluetooth speaker here. Give me a sec. Here we go. Alright, so we're meditating about 20 minutes here. Don't space out. Don't just wander off into la la land here. The initial stages of meditation is a workout. It's work. If you're new to this and you just want to watch for the first time, that's fine. Kind of see what's going on. You'll see a process of progression into stillness, of surrender, of letting go. Hopefully by the end I am a beautiful version of myself. Okay, here we go. Take a big deep breath. Let it all go. One more, in the nose, out the mouth. Sit up nice and straight. Good posture. Find a comfortable position to where you can maintain relative stillness throughout the entire session. Become balanced. Now direct your attention to listening to the music. When the mind wanders, just redirect your attention back to the music. Listen deeply. Let go of any tension as we progress. Become the perfect listener.